How about Elon Musk at the Madison Square Garden rally? How about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. at the Madison Square Garden rally? How about Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, Tucker Carlson? And, to anybody who's squeamish about the stand-up comic who told the stupid joke about Puerto Rico, and I knew that some of my establishment friends would have the predictable reaction, oh, the optics of this aren't very good. Oh, really? You sorry you disappointed the Daily Beast? Are you worried that the Drudge Report didn't approve? There's nothing that could have happened yesterday in New York City that they would have approved of. Nothing. They were irate about the rally. They were furious. They were hoping the place would be half empty. And Trump was, well, splendid. Big surprise, he was introduced by Melania, the former First Lady. Dr. Phil endorsed him. Did you see the Dr. Phil endorsement? This is a realignment that is off the charts. Here was Trump talking about his so-called rhetoric that people complain about all the time.
He's going to start a war. Listen to his rhetoric. He's going to start a war. I said, no. My rhetoric is going to keep us out of wars. And that's what happened. 82 years. Other than I finished off ISIS, but that was already started. We had stupid generals like Milley and Mattis, weak, stupid people. But fear not, we have great generals, just not the ones that you see on television all the time.
He went on to take on FEMA. FEMA's problems with hurricane relief have been well documented. He addressed that at Madison Square Garden as well.
They haven't even responded in North Carolina. They haven't even responded. There's nobody. They don't see any FEMA. You know why? They spent their money on bringing in illegal migrants. So they didn't have money for Georgia and North Carolina and Alabama and Tennessee and Florida and South Carolina. They didn't have any money for them. They spent all of their money on bringing in illegal immigrants and flying them in by beautiful jet planes. They flew in. We just found that about a year and a half ago. Remember, we said, what's going on? Those planes, there are a lot of planes going over there. What are they? They would fly them into the middle of our country, our beautiful, beautiful country.
I still can't get over that it happened in the belly of the beast, right in the middle of Manhattan, Madison Square Garden, the most famous arena arguably in the world. And Trump talked about his lifelong love affair with New York City.
But this is the city where I was born and raised, and this is the town that taught me that Americans can do anything when they want to. So no matter our differences, when we work together, there is nothing that we cannot achieve. From New York to Las Vegas, from Philadelphia to Phoenix, from Chicago to Charlotte, from Atlanta to Detroit, this nation was built by generations of American patriots who gave everything they had for our rights, our future, and for our freedom.
Now, that's the message that the critics said was dark and racist and ugly and vitriolic. They had all those words and all those descriptions lined up before they even opened up the doors. You knew what they were going to say about Madison Square Garden. You knew how irate they were. That according to, as one New York official put it, with the people outside of the garden, you could have filled the garden up twice more. There were 25, maybe 50,000 people outside the sold-out 20,000-seat arena. Something is happening. Something is changing. And something big is about to happen in 8 days. In fact, one more thing about New York. Here's Trump talking about looking for a New York City police officer who's endorsing Kamala Harris.
Police and firefighters also. We have every endorsement from virtually every sheriff's department, police department. I don't think they have one cop. They're looking for just one cop. Is there one?
You know, and I would paraphrase President Trump by saying, is there one person who won't vote for Donald Trump and will cast a ballot for Kamala Harris because an insult comic made a stupid joke about Puerto Rico? Have you followed that? I mean, I don't even like bringing it up. It kind of annoys me to bring it up because probably you may not even be aware of it. The only people making a big deal about it are the Trump-hating media outlets that wanted the rally to be a failure.
Mike Gallagher.
Eric Hansen, our ops manager, who's with me here in Phoenix, was just seeing something on social media that says that Kamala and Tim Walz are claiming that Trump is ducking interviews. He's hiding from doing interviews. Wow, he must be hiding in the Joe Rogan podcast studio. They've had now 25 million views in the first 24 hours of the Joe Rogan interview with Donald Trump. I think last night Trump was on the Weather Channel and on the History Network. And I think I saw him on the Home Shopping Network. Yeah, he's really hiding from interviews, says the woman who turned down Joe Rogan. And yesterday, the Madison Square Garden rally was everything you would hope it would have been. People from all walks of life, white, black, Hispanic, Asian, young, old, cops, firefighters, Border Patrol agents, teachers. And they hated that. They were hoping it would be half empty so they could mock it. How does Donald Trump get tens of thousands of people to come to New York City's Madison Square Garden on a Sunday afternoon? And he did. Here, speaking of Asian Americans, here's an Asian woman, I believe she's from China, outside Madison Square Garden, waiting to go in to see the president yesterday.
We're Chinese, first generation. We love Trump from our bottom of the heart because we know Trump is the only one can save America. Kamala is so stupid. She is so low. IQ equal no Q, no qualification to be the president. You shall stay away from that position. You already lost the position. You lost our trust. You lost our vote. You just need to go home, to stay home. You cannot do anything to save America. You are so stupid. You don't know anything. You cannot even answer any question from the camera, from all the media. How you can be on the stage to fight for America, to protect American people, to protect all the world. You are not qualified. You just need to go home. Let Trump to save America, to save the world.
I like that lady. Like her a lot. That was perfect. Perfect. Good for her. I took an Uber out to Newark Airport Saturday evening, and the Uber driver was a guy from Bangladesh, and we started talking about the election. He didn't know what I did for a living. We were just two guys talking about an election a few days away. He has such love and respect and support for Donald Trump. He said, I came over here with my grandparents when I was 11 years old to seek a better life, and Kamala Harris has ripped that dream from me. Trump gave me that dream. And he goes, New Yorkers, he basically said what the Asian lady just said, that people are too stupid to see how they're voting against their own self-interests when you're voting for a party and a candidate like Kamala who is absolutely against the rule of law, absolutely against border security, absolutely against America's sovereignty, absolutely against keeping us out of world wars. It's a new day. It's an absolute new day. Carl's in Hammond, Indiana, 25 past the hour. By the way, speaking of Uber, I was driving around in the the driverless Waymos yesterday here in Phoenix. My life has been changed forever. I'll tell you about that in just a moment. Hey, Carl, welcome to Phoenix. How are you?
Pretty good. I was glad to cast my vote for the best man for the job, Donald J. Trump.
And I hear you're a former Democrat.
Yes.
Wow. And you proudly voted for President Trump, huh?
Yes. I voted for him 3 times now.
Wow. Good for you.
Because, look, he's a businessman. He knows how to fix our problems. All these other people and the Democrats don't know anything. All they want to do is steal our money make us hurt, and everybody is so poor.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Hey, good for you, Carl. God bless you. I'm glad you did the right thing, and let's hope you help pull him over the finish line. Look, I don't know what's going to happen in 8 days. I have a gut feeling what's going to happen, but I don't want to say it out loud. You could probably imagine what my gut feeling is. I'm not going to verbalize it because I want you to make sure you vote. If we show up, we're going to win. If you stay home, we could lose. If you don't mobilize your friends and your family and your fellow churchgoers and your coworkers and your kids and your aunt, if you don't mobilize people and make sure they vote, we could lose. If you show up, I promise you, we're going to win. I think I know what's going to happen. Not going to say it out loud, but you can imagine it. 800-655-MIKE. You know, I really debated whether to even mention this Puerto Rico joke yesterday, but a lot of people are calling in about it, so we might as well talk about it. Evidently, a couple of hours before Trump appeared, there was a stand-up comic. I guess he's branded kind of an insult comic. I don't know who he is. Tony somebody, Tommy somebody. Never heard of the guy. Most people have never heard of the guy. I guess he's got a following. And he told a stupid joke about something about Puerto Rico was a pile of garbage in the sea or something. He essentially assaulted Puerto Rico, although he insulted a lot of people because he's described as an insult comic. So the Associated Press runs a big headline. Trump's Madison Square Garden event features crude and racist insults. Donald Trump hosted a rally featuring crude and racist insults, an illustration of what turns off his critics. Now, we have an executive here at Salem, Tom Tradup, who's constantly at war with the AP because the AP is a joke. The AP is so biased and so, predictably mainstream media. The Associated Press, which is the source for many news organizations' news content, has an agenda. They want Kamala to win and they hate Trump. And Tom wrote a note, and I want to share this note with you because it was so pitch perfect the way Tom described this. He wrote to the executives at AP and said, so sadly predictable, almost comical, how we can always expect AP journalists, quote unquote, to distort and smear Donald J. Trump. AP buries the lead that Trump turned out record crowds at New York City's Madison Square Garden, 20,000 inside, sold out, and enough outside that one police spokesman said he could have sold out MSG twice more, with a speakers lineup that included RFK Jr., Dr. Phil, Tucker Carlson, U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson, and instead chooses to blast headlines that the massive Trump rally featured, which is a lie, crude and racist insults, a.k.a. one stupid comic nobody ever heard of and some minor figures who shot their mouths off 2 hours before Trump even appeared. Tom finishes this great missive to the AP by saying, it's ironic that you guys love comparing Trump to Hitler because Third Reich Nazi propagandists, Goebbels, were people like him were pikers compared to the smear peddlers disguised as reporters at the Associated Press. You should be ashamed of yourselves. What a great analysis. And Tom, of course, is pitch perfect. Spot on. So the guy tells a joke about Puerto Rico, and people were rushing to the airwaves to say, oh, that's it. The election's over. Puerto Ricans in Pennsylvania aren't going to vote for Trump now because of Tony, what's his name, Hinchcliffe? I wouldn't know Tony Hinchcliffe if he spit on me. Nobody knows who the guy is. Maybe he's got a following, maybe he doesn't. I don't have a clue. Do you know that they drove around yesterday in New York City a blue open-top convertible with the presidential seal on the side of the vehicle with Trump, a mannequin of Trump, in the back seat, mimicking John F. Kennedy's assassination in Dallas, Texas. That's what some New Yorkers did yesterday. and you're going to get your panties in a wad over some insult comic taking a shot at Puerto Rico? Spare me your righteous indignation when you're driving around a vehicle hoping that Donald Trump gets his head blown off. And there's a picture of this all over the media, on social media. Not ABC, not NBC, not the Associated Press. Very unlikely that the AP showed the blue convertible without the bubble top and Trump sitting in the back seat with the presidential seal on it. Do you realize how sick that is? That some disgusting New Yorker thought it would be funny to show Trump in the back of a blue convertible, the kind John F. Kennedy was riding in the back seat in Dallas, Texas, when he got half his head blown off. That's what the AP won't touch, because all they want to do is prevent him from winning again. And they don't care how they're going to do it. And last night at the rally here in Phoenix, Charlie Kirk brought this up. They want to get him killed. When you call him Hitler, Kamala Harris wants to get the man killed. She can't stop him at the ballot box. She can't stop the crowds at Madison Square Garden. She can't stop the little Asian ladies outside MSG calling Kamala stupid and an America hater. You can't stop the NFL players from wearing the MAGA hat. You can't stop the college football player from scoring a touchdown and lifting up his shirt and you see, Trump 2024 under his jersey. This is real. This is organic. This is a movement that they can't stop. And they figure, if we can't lock him up, if we can't bankrupt him, let's get him killed. And there have been 4 assassination attempts on this man's life in 2024 alone. 4. And you're going to sit here and tell me that you're offended by some nobody podcast insult comic who tells a bad joke about Puerto Rico? Spare me. Spare me. Give me a break. Incidentally, for the record, the Trump campaign officially denounced the joke, said it's not reflective of how Donald Trump feels about Puerto Rico, and they essentially apologized for the joke. Manny's in Chicago. Manny, you're on the Mike Gallagher Show. Hello.
Hey, Mike, I already voted, and I voted for Trump. I am Puerto Rican, and I'm actually offended at how they're using the joke. I watched the entire speech, and I heard Trump, truthful voice, thanking blacks and Puerto Ricans for and Latinos for his support.
Sure.
And I believe that, and that's who I believe. I don't believe whatever happened before that. It's only propaganda. And the ones that are calling Trump fascist and racist are using the same terms. And like you said, they're just what was the term that your friend used? That they're actually using what they're doing against Trump.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Manny. I appreciate your perspective. 18 before the hour. 800-655-Mike. Marcia in Bay City, Michigan. Hey, Marcia, welcome back.
Yes. Oh, this just gets worse and worse as I listen to you. I can't believe this thing about the car, and who is apologizing to Bobby Kennedy and Trump about that?
Oh, sure.
Oh,
I know. It's. I mean, they're sick. They're sick, Marcia. They're sick and they're evil.
Yeah.
They're evil.
Yeah. And they're all upset about a Puerto Rican joke that means nothing. And Michelle Obama is out campaigning with drag queens to drag voters to the poll. And nobody.
Well, I mean, look at what Michelle Obama said yesterday, Marcia. Look, this is a great point, and I love what Britt Hume's take was on social media. He pointed out, poor Michelle Obama, America's always letting her down. Do you remember when she said she was never proud of America until her husband ran for president? That was the first time she said that she was proud of the United States of America. Only when her husband ran for president. Check out what she said over the weekend while campaigning for Kamala.
I got to ask myself, well, why on earth is this race even close? I lay awake at night wondering what in the world is going on. And it's clear to me that the question isn't whether Kamala is ready for this moment, because by every measure, she has demonstrated that she's ready. The real country... The real question is, as a country, are we ready for this moment?
You know, she basically is browbeating, along with her husband, black men, Hispanic, anybody who doesn't get in line and vote for the Democrat. And again, this righteous indignation over the joke about Puerto Rico, spare me when you know what they've said about Trump and Hitler, when they've called him a fascist over and over again. Dov Hikind is a great activist in the New York City area. I want to get him back on the show. It's been a while since I've had my friend Dov Hikind on the Mike Gallagher show, but I saw this on social media, the disgust that he expressed over Hillary and Kamala and the Democrats continually comparing Trump to Adolf Hitler.
Clear desperation in the Democratic Party. You have Hillary Clinton talking about the rally at Madison Square Garden on behalf of Trump, comparing it to 1939 when Nazis gathered at Madison Square Garden to support the Nazis in Nazi Germany. My God, what the hell is wrong with these people? This desperation on the part of Hillary Clinton and Harris calling Donald Trump a fascist. Madison Square Garden, half the place is going to be Jews there to support Donald Trump. My mother is a survivor of Auschwitz. Most of her family were murdered in Auschwitz in 1944. We are supporting Donald Trump. So much of the Jewish community committed to Israel is supporting Donald Trump. To call him a fascist, to compare him to the Nazis, the event at Madison Square Garden, shame on them, shame. They are so freaking desperate, and they are ready to destroy America.
Hey, man, he's right. They don't care about destroying this country as long as they can maintain power. And so a stupid insult comic telling a joke about Puerto Rico, that pales in comparison to trying to have a man murdered, to trying to have your Republican opponent murdered.